Good morning and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Wednesday the 5th of January. For some reason, sorry, dude's laying against the chair. For some reason, it feels like something happens or should happen on the 5th of January, and I'm not sure what that is. If you know what this anniversary is, or if there's something special about this day, will you let me know? Because it's sort of egging away at the back of my head and I can't figure it out. This morning, I'd like to talk to you about simplifying life. Being able to recognize the ways that God calls us to just slow down and to be present, to listen, to not have such great, grandiose expectations of ourselves so that we might just sort of be in the moment with God. So 2 weeks ago yesterday, I was trying to take a jar out of a bag and it was stuck. And rather than putting it down on the floor and between my feet and using both hands to pull it out, I tried to pull it out with my right hand. And it was a very heavy jar. And when I pulled it out, I heard something go pop in my hand. Right up in here. Right in here. And since then, it's been kind of sore. It's not broken or anything. I think maybe just a tendon or something, or I've strained it or sprained it or something. I'm having trouble twisting things and picking things up. So it's been fun because a couple of times on our holidays between Christmas and New Year, when we were out for dinner, I had to pass my plate to Rob and he had to cut my meat because I can't, there's certain actions I can't take. It's a bit too painful. But this inconvenience, which has been helped a lot by a $20, splint or wrist gadget from Shoppers Drug Mart. This inconvenience has been teaching me a lot about slowing down and paying attention to things. One of the things I do every day, like lots of people, is I get up and I have a shower every morning. I wash my hair. And I've never broken wrists or feet or anything like that. I did something to my knee once when I was in grade 9 and my poor family had to cater to me, but that was a long time ago. So I've kind of forgotten about that. But every once in a while when I'm washing my hair, I wonder, how do people do it when they break their arm? How do they wash their hair with a cast on? Because I couldn't handle going without washing my hair. And then, so the last 2 weeks, every morning, I that question comes into my head again because I take this contraption off to wash my hair. But it's interesting having to slow down and think about the mechanics of what we do. Simply trying to pop the top off my Pantene shampoo bottle is teaching me two things. One, I am not left-handed. I am not ambidextrous either. I'm having to learn how to arrange things so that I can use my left hand and be patient with myself to do it because the right hand just doesn't work very well. And then things like washing hair, because you put your shampoo in your hair and you're trying to move your arm around and give it a good scratch and get all that soap in there. And realizing that the strength of that hand, I took it for granted. The things that it did, the things that I do in my life, that because I'm right-handed, I do all the time. Rinsing my hair and trying to dry my hair off with a towel and then trying to dry my hair with a hairdryer when I'm trying to hold the heavy thing in my hand. All of these things are things that I never even thought about before. Cutting my meat. Who thinks about that? You just go ahead and do it. Making the bed, sleeping at night, trying to keep my arms straight. I take this off at night to give it a break, but trying to keep my arms straight and not bend it over or lean on it. How many times do you get up from a chair and put your hand down to push up? Can't do that either. Getting out of the bathtub's become kind of an awkward situation as well. So just realizing the things that we do in our days, the things that we take for granted, the things that we don't really think about the mechanics of. Two things actually come to mind. First of all, a new understanding, a new empathy for people who deal with these things on a regular basis every day. For people who are blind or people who have arthritis, somebody who is paralyzed, things like that. This is a minor, like a hangnail on the thumb of life compared to those things. It's not really, and I know it's going to heal and I'm going to be fine, and there's not much I can't do. I'm discovering, and amazingly people are very willing to help if I need help. So being aware of other people and being empathetic to what they go through. I'm seeing people with new eyes. I go to Walmart. I was doing some last minute Christmas shopping and seeing an older woman who obviously was sort of struck down by osteoporosis and probably arthritis, and seeing her struggling to be able to do things, and her grandson helping her put things in her cart and put them up on the conveyor belt at the till, things like that. Like seeing how people just get on with their life. And the thing is, she wasn't miserable. She was laughing and joking and kibitzing with her grandson. And it was incredible to see that this is a part of her life, and hence she just lives her life. It's also reminded me of how complex and how complicated we make our lives. There are times when I'm so busy and I've got so much to do, and emails to send and paperwork to do and sermons to write and phone calls to make and people to visit, and got to get to this nursing home and that one and do all this and do this and this. And really, when it comes down to it, I'm reminded, a wise priest once said to me, how often are we called in an emergency first? Most times the emergencies, it's the police, the doctors, the nurses, the ambulances, the fire department. We are called in, yes, but our presence isn't required to be there necessarily as quickly. Our work, what we do as a vocation, should not be one that looks scurried, that looks like we're running around like a chicken with our head cut off. As a matter of fact, our work as priests should be one that keeps us calm and prayerful and faithful to listening to what God is saying to us in the moment, listening to what we are being told by someone who's speaking, listening to the Spirit moving as we pay attention to the one task at hand. We aren't called to be multitaskers. We're called to pay attention, to be focused. And that goes for more than just priests. I think we're all there. We live in a world that calls upon us, to be proud of how many things you can multitask with. There's all kinds of jokes on the internet about the difference between men and women multitasking. And, and some super moms who can do everything and get it all done. At the end of the day, do they really? What things fall short? Does their child get the chance to tell that really silly joke, or to ask their mom to hold them because they got their heart broke at school when a boy made fun of them, a boy they really liked? Is mom so busy running to soccer practice and to music lessons and getting the groceries done and fixing up the yard so it looks just perfect? Is she able to really appreciate the gift of life that God has given her? And is she able to share that gift of life with her children, with her spouse, with her friends? My wrist is reminding me that I need to slow down. I need to pay attention to the things that are important. And if need be, sometimes I need to ask for help. And there's no shame in that. I'm sure that this wrist is going to heal one of these days, and I'll probably slip right back into my busyness and not paying attention. Although maybe now I'll pay more attention to when I'm not paying attention, so I don't take for granted the many things that my physical body does for me without even thinking. But it's giving me this opportunity to really sit down and consider, to think what's important in this moment. How might I get around this? How might I deal with this particular task at hand when one hand isn't working very well? What might I look in my life and say, okay, this is a way that God is asking me, calling me, exhorting me to slow down, to be present, to appreciate, to delegate, to let go. The simple things in life, something as simple as being a little bit a minor incapacitation, a minor irritant right now, is helping me to remember that as I enter into this new year, it's not about achieving multiple goals. It's not about accumulating multiple, to-do lists done. It's about living each moment and being patient and listening to the voice of God saying to me, here am I. Here am I. In your presence, and you are in mine. Just be. And while you just be, I will help you with it, whatever it is you have on your task at hand now. God will help us to do all that we're called to do, but he probably isn't going to help us do eight things at once. So this is my reminder to slow down, to listen to what God is calling me to do, to trust that everything will get done, and that in God's time, all shall be well, including this wrist. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you. Just keep it simple today. Okay? Keep it simple. God bless. I'll see you tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel.